Hey, what's going on? Trip Kramer here from tripadvice.com. On today's video, I want to talk to you about the 7 limiting beliefs that I hear all the time when I'm working with coaching clients. A limiting belief is also something that can be called an excuse, right? Something that is preventing you from taking action, from moving forward, from growing due to you having some sort of belief that you feel is real. So I want to talk about these limiting beliefs, help you through them so that they are not part of your world anymore, and you can live in a new reality that actually gets you results. This is something, like I said, I work on with my clients on all the time, and it pushes them through to the next step. You can also be a client. You can work with a coach here at TripAdvice one-on-one, where we can crush those limiting beliefs and help you approach and talk to more women and get dates with women who you think are out of your league. So go to tripadvicecoaching.com and you can apply to work with one of us here ASAP. Now let's go into the limiting beliefs. Number one, you see a girl and you go, no, that girl's never gonna like me. She's too attractive. That's probably one of the most common ones because you're going out, you see women and you're like, no, that girl's too attractive. Or maybe you're swiping on a dating app and you'll swipe right on her maybe at the chance because you're interested, but in the back of your head, you're thinking, there's no way that she's gonna want me. Or maybe even swipe left on them thinking, it doesn't even matter, she's not gonna want me anyway. So your self-esteem is so low that you don't think it's even possible to get a woman who is quote unquote out of your league or someone too pretty. I could probably do a whole video on this alone for a complete hour, but let me give you a few things to crack through this limiting belief. Yes, there are women out there who are very attractive. Yes, it can be very scary to go talk to them. Yes, you might think that they're out of your league, but these women have so much going on for them beyond their looks. And so you think it's not possible to get with one of them because you're placing so much value on just their looks. When if you ever end up on a date with a woman who's super attractive, or even date one that's super attractive, and I've done this many times, you end up finding out things that make them more human than you would actually think. That yeah, okay, they're very attractive, but there's a lot going on with them that is a total mess. Or you find out that they have low self-esteem and they don't even think that they're attractive. Or any number of reasons why they are actually not the best version of themselves that you're believing that they are. Now, in addition to all of this, women who are attractive, yes, of course, they might say they want to be with a guy who's very attractive physically, but in reality, what the actual guy that they're going for is a guy who has more than just looks. So yeah, if you're tall, if you're model-like in your looks, yeah, that's gonna help you. But it's your behavior that is always gonna be some of the most significant way to build attraction with the woman. So don't focus so much on how you look and focus on more of how you're gonna behave around her. Let's go into the next limiting belief. Kind of similar, but you'll say something like, she'll never go for a guy like me. Now listen, that might be true. And to be honest with you, that limiting belief becomes this self-fulfilling prophecy, because if you do believe that, then yeah, for sure, a woman's not gonna wanna be with a guy who even thinks that. So where are you in your life that you feel is so bad and so unattractive? So we're not just talking about your looks, but what's going on with you in your life that is not fixed or at the status that it should be or it could be? Are you looking at your life in a way that you can give this broad overview of what needs to be fixed to make you better? Or are you just settling for something easy? So you're in no growth mode at all. So this is an interesting one because it's a limiting belief, but the limiting belief is actually causing you to not move forward. So you need to be working on those things and fixing those things. If you want, you don't have to. But if you do, then it's gonna get you to that point where you're not gonna think about yourself anymore as the low value guy. So look at all the different areas. Look at your career and finances. Look at your health. Look at the general maintenance of your body and your grooming. Look at your lifestyle and the friends and the people you hang out with. Take a full audit of what's going on to fix you feeling about the way that you do, with the fact that you're feeling that she would never want a guy like you. Here's another one. I'm too old or I'm too young. So you might see a girl and go, well, I'm too old for her. I'm 45. She'll never go for a 45-year-old. You might say, I'm 22. that girl's never going to go for me. I don't know. She's older. She's not going to want a guy like me. So yeah, it could be, right? That could be true. It is possible that you might find a woman who's just not going to date your age. But what I found is if you don't even ever try to go for a girl just because you're thinking that she might not go for a guy at your age, well then yeah, it's 100% just never going to happen. But I've seen time and time again, especially guys who work in the coaching program over here at TripAdvice, that they are able to attract women who they never thought that they could attract due to their age. Age matters, but not as much as you think. Looks matter, but not as much as you think. It's more about your behavior, like I said before. Any guy who's going to be, I don't care what age, with what looks, if you're not confident, if you're not charismatic, if you don't know how to talk to a girl, you won't get a chance at all. Next limiting belief, I'm too scared or I'm too anxious. Yep, it's a common one. You're feeling scared, you're feeling anxious to go on a date, to talk to that girl, you're thinking, yeah, this girl's not gonna like me. I'm just like this shy guy. I'm just this nervous guy and this anxious guy. I'm not a ladies' man type guy. Well, first of all, again, self-fulfilling prophecy. You start talking about that stuff, it becomes true. You might be thinking, Trip, I don't need to talk about it or not talk about it. It is true. Okay, I'll give that to you. However, no one is permanently that way, barring some exceptions. The emotions that we feel are usually going to be temporary. If you're nervous around women, well, that means you're nervous around women, but you're not nervous all the time, right? So you are not nervous or anxious, you just feel nervous or anxious. So the more and more you start to connect those ideas to who you are and your personality, well, self-fulfilling prophecy, and you'll always be that way. If you start to understand the concept of these emotions kind of flooding in at the times when you have an opportunity to talk to a woman, well, then you know that you can eventually control that. Or at least if you don't, I'll teach you right now. The best way to control those emotions are by doing the thing that is hard. So if you're anxious around women, it's probably because you haven't talked to enough women. If you're anxious around really pretty women, it's probably because you haven't talked to enough women that you're attracted to. So the more and more you do something, the less and less you're going to be feeling that emotion that you have now associated yourself to. So be careful with how you label yourself because it's not permanent. Next limiting belief, women don't like sex. Now, you probably don't think that on a conscious level, but I guarantee you're acting like it. A lot of guys will be scared to make a first move. They'll be scared to ask a girl back to their place. They just won't try to initiate any sort of physicality at all. And they're doing that because they're nervous, but deep down they're also doing it because they don't truly believe that a woman wants that. And I get it. Just based on how society is structured and the media and how we take in information and what we see, that might seem to be the case. Might be the case as well because women do act that way in a sense because they don't want to feel slutty or be labeled as slutty, right? So they don't want that shame around them. But the secret is that they do want it. They just want it with the right guy. So remember, if a woman is saying yes to a date, if she's interested in you and wanting to see you again, most likely she's interested in that. Some women want it fast. Some women don't want to do it that fast. They want to wait a few dates. Either way, they do want it, but nothing's going to happen if you don't make a move. Next, your race. So I get a lot of guys that I work with that say to me, hey, Trip, I'm whatever race, whatever ethnicity, or I'm not from America, or whatever it may be, or maybe we're coaching someone who's in Europe and, oh, okay, well, I'm not from this country, so they're not gonna like me. We get this all the time. But the reality is that the more and more you believe that that is the case, self-fulfilling prophecy once again, it will become the case. You gotta only focus on what you can control. You can't control your height, you can't control your race, but you can control, however, the way you think about that stuff. I've worked with every race I could possibly imagine. And every one of those guys was able to at one point get a date with, hook up with, or even get a girlfriend with a woman outside of their race that they never thought they were able to get. So you can believe this all you want, and you can probably write down the comments down below, Trip, this type of girl is never gonna go for a guy like me. That's fine. If that's the world you wanna live in, that's the world you will live in. However, if we can think outside the box and stop focusing on the things that we can't control, you will see that you will be able to attract women who you didn't think you could before. Next one, sort of similar and even kind of similar to some of the other ones, is I'm not high status, right? Girl's not gonna like me. I'm not a celebrity. I'm not super popular in my friend group or in school. I don't make millions of dollars. Now, the reality is yeah, the average guy is not going to be able to attract that super high status supermodel. Yeah, that's true, right? That woman is going for someone who's also high status. But I've also learned to believe that looks in a lot of ways can be subjective. You know, we can obviously pick out and do a whole survey on who we think is attractive and what women are super attractive. We'll probably all agree. But I've still found that there are guys out there who are dating women that I would be like, I would never date her. I'm not attracted to her. And there's girls that I'm attracted to that I've talked about with clients and friends, and they're like, I'm not attracted to that girl at all. So in some ways it is subjective. So point is that stop thinking about being high status or having to be a celebrity or make a lot of money. I'm almost positive, okay, of course, I know there's exceptions, that there's a woman out there who you find super attractive, who's not going to be looking at that high status stuff, who's not going to be needing a guy who makes millions of dollars or is in some super high level career or whatever it may be. So don't focus on that either. Focus on becoming the best version of yourself, and then you'll see the level of woman that you want actually appear more when you fix those things. We help guys over here at TripAdvice in the coaching program to have unbreakable confidence and completely conquer their goals with women in dating. So do not delay. Go to that URL, fill out an application, work with one of us. At the very least, write a comment down below. Let me know what you think of some of these limiting beliefs and tell me which one you have, and then tell me that you're going to start fixing it right away. Hope this helps. See you on the next episode.